making that dough in the crypto paradise. Watching it go, buying low, selling high. Riding the wave, I'm here to stay, living in the digital age. No banks, no fees, just decentralized. It's crypto paradise. Ooh. No banks, no fees.
Good morning from Paradise Surf family. My name is Crypto Amaru. We have the whole Surf Boy crew in the house. Web3 Nate, Crypto Hitman as always. A lot to cover today, guys. Rate cuts tomorrow. We're getting a 25 basis point, a 50 basis point. Is Trump going to get his wish? 100 basis point cut? Let's see what happens. We have predictions. We have market predictions as well. What's going to happen to ETH? What's going to happen to Bitcoin after this rate cut that's coming? But you know what I'm even more excited about than Bitcoin and ETH price performance? Some of these low-cap gems we're in. I mean, man, that's how you make the riches quick in crypto. It's not easy. There are pitfalls. There are things to be concerned about as always, but there are some tremendous opportunities out there. So we will cover some low-cap gems that we absolutely love, including YakDAO, which launched yesterday, right on Pulse Chain. Shout out to those guys. So, all right, guys, tomorrow is September 17th. That is, let's call that R Day, rate cut day. R Day is upon us. Are we getting to 25? Are we getting to 50 basis point? Or is the Fed going to completely surprise us with a 0 or something even more unimaginable like 100 point? What do you guys think for tomorrow?
Well, I mean, after the job numbers we've been talking about for the last week, largest revision in history, 911,000, total of 2 million jobs for the last 3 years of Biden's office being, essentially wiped out. And not only the jobs now, they're reporting, and we got a story we're going to take a look at a little later, but their banks, quarter two, I believe, banks are reporting $380 billion in unrealized losses. So it's not just the job market. If they don't start cutting rates, we're going to be facing another run on the banks or another bank solvency issue like we had, 2 years ago with SCB Bank and some of those other ones. So the pressure is absolutely on. If Powell doesn't cover or cut the rates here, his job is going to get pretty solvent pretty quick. So I think, it's all or nothing here.
Yeah, I mean, it would be like, again, the poly market betting is looking for a 0.25 basis rate cut. I know there was some kind of closed door meeting today, so people are like, oh, what's going to come out today? Look, I think the market's already priced in the 0.25. We got NASDAQ at new all-time highs, S&P 500 at new all-time highs, gold at new all-time highs. Yes, Bitcoin and ETH are still floundering here, but, still very high in valuation. So I think the 0.25 is priced in. We want to see a surprise, get that 50, get that 75, get that 100. That's where the fireworks happen. And if there's some way that he doesn't do a cut, then I think even Crypto Amaru himself will have to say that there's politics involved.
We're gonna get a cut. We're gonna, even though Lisa Cook is still apparently on the Fed board. We didn't get her ousted, even though she committed mortgage fraud allegedly. She's still there, but I think even she votes for a rate cut. So even the wokest among the governors are going to be voting for rate cuts. Look, I actually think there's a better than 7% chance that we get a 50 basis point cut because of the reasons Nate stated. Right, like the job market is in absolute disarray. All those jobs we thought were created during the Biden administration basically weren't, which is sort of mind-boggling to think about. But if you start to dig down in the data even further on the jobs, like if you're a young person, recent college grad, man, you are screwed right now. It is so tough out there. People are talking R-word. People are talking recession. Is there sort of a hidden recession that hasn't really been reported on based on all these job losses or jobs that were never created? So I think the Fed would be well within reason to do a 50 basis point cut. Remember, last year, September, the same story essentially played out. Powell dug in his heels all year, even though guys like us were from the sidelines, cut the rates. He dug in his heels. And then finally, in September, after having realized, oh wait, we kept the rates too high for too long, we need to do an aggressive cut, an aggressive series of cuts. And they went 50. And then I think another 50 the next month, and then another 25, and then they stopped. So do we see a replay? I think we very well could. I think they should. I think the rates are way too high. So we got to get down. I mean, so even look, if they do a 25, this rate cutting sort of stance is just coming into play here. It's not going to be just a rate cut and then it's not happening again. They'll do a series of these things because the rates are too high, the economy's weak, the job market's in shambles. 50 basis point, they should just do that. They should. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens tomorrow. But the question, whether it's priced in the markets, maybe the gold. Certainly gold at all-time highs as of yesterday. S&P 500, Nasdaq, all-time highs. Bitcoin, Ethereum, not so much, right? Not so much. So, are the retail investors in the crypto markets maybe a little bit more leery and a little bit more skeptical? And I'm not investing until Powell comes out with that official policy stance and starts cutting rates. Maybe we'll see. But I think Ethereum hitting 5,000 by the end of the month, well within the realm of possibility. Frankly, I would bet on it. And Bitcoin above 125,000, which would be its all-time high by the end of the month, also very, very possible, given the fact that it's not really priced in. But I could be wrong. Maybe we see a dump tomorrow. Let's see how it plays out.
Yeah, I think 50 basis point. If we get a 50 base point cut, we're going to see some fireworks here. 25, maybe not so much. But the bigger question, I think, is do we get the play out of what we've seen over the last? I think it's pretty much my lifetime. When the Fed does pivot and start cutting rates, that first 1 to 3 months has been bearish in the markets, and then if you fast forward a year, the market is up significantly. It's kind of a delayed effect. Delayed boost there. So do we get that again? Do we see, bearish October, maybe a bit of November, or, into September and October, and then, get some cycle last opportunities to buy a dip in the cycle, and away we go? That is the biggest question on my mind at the moment.
Yeah, and I know there is some history to this. I think it was in 1998 and then also 2024 where you had extended quantitative tightening. And then you saw jumbo cuts and multiple cuts starting in September of 1998 and 2024. And what happened to assets after that happened? Absolute explosion. So new all-time highs across the board. That could be correlated also with the 4-year halving cycle that we've seen traditionally to lead to massive rallies in Bitcoin, Ethereum, and other crypto assets. Obviously, that's what we're rooting for. Will there be a stop and pause like Nate is referring to when there is these cuts start, when we switch from QT to QE? Or will we see like 1998 and 2024 where we saw exaggerated QT switch to QE in September, lead us to massive rallies right off the rip? I don't know. We shall see. I think both scenarios lead to higher prices. And that's why I made a tweet yesterday that said, I think you just need to be recklessly long on crypto assets, recklessly long on crypto-related stocks, and recklessly long on top NASDAQ 100 companies, because history will tell you when that happens, those are the things that are going to rip. It's just a matter of time.
If I were a betting man, and I guess because I'm so heavily in the financial markets, I suppose that's a form of being a betting man, I'm staying long here. I don't think Nate's scenario plays out where we get a dump following a rate cut. It just doesn't logically make a lot of sense to me. The 4-year halving history suggests that, Q4 of the year following the halving is the most explosive quarter that we're going to have this cycle. We're getting the start of rate cuts, the start of QE, so it's not like we're getting one rate cut and done. They're going to keep cutting rates month after month. They're going to start doing other forms of quantitative easing, buying up treasuries, things of that nature. So it just belies logic that all of a sudden, after a rate cut and a series of more rate cuts and all these other things happening, that we would have a market crash, right? I think more likely we have a melt up. We have a melt up maybe for 2, 3, 4, 5 months of crazy bullishness, and then we have a crash after things get way too overheated. That to me seems more likely than a crash starting tomorrow.
I mean, let's look at what the charts say. Also, there could be the crash, but Bitcoin is already kind of crashing a bit here, if that's what you want to call it. So it would have to be quite a reset if we get this cut, and then we are going to lead into a month drawdown because Bitcoin is already back down below 115,000 today. The nice thing is you did have this clean head and shoulders, inverse head and shoulders breakout. The target is still 117 to 118. You came up here, and now this could be a bull flag that is sitting on this 300 moving average support. So what this means is you'd want this to hold the next couple days. The Fed cuts rates, and maybe that brings bullishness back to Bitcoin. This would be a bull flag, and then you would take out this 117 to 118 target. We'll see what happens with that moving forward. It is interesting to see that Bitcoin dominance, Nate, is back to 58%. It wicked down to 57% when Solana and Ethereum had that massive outperformance that just this weekend. People forget, just this weekend, Ethereum almost went to new all-time highs. BNB went to new all-time highs. Solana almost back to $300. And then what do you know, for some reason, on Mondays, after Saylor buys Bitcoin, the entire market always needs to dump. So what is Ethereum doing? Ethereum 4450, still sitting over the critical 4350 level, but again, a big red candle today, sitting right on the 200 moving average. This does not look as clear as a bull flag because it has almost given up all of the gains from the weekend. Like we said, going in the weekend, 4250 went to $4,800, almost new all-time highs. And no, rejected. And now we're working our way back down. What do you think's to come here for Ethereum? Still just sitting in this range. Nothing exciting. But I will say, man, when it ran to 4,800 over the weekend, I was like, holy cow, Monday could be explosive. And then what do you know? Saylor says, hey, I bought Bitcoin. Monday turns into a red day while stocks go to new all-time highs.
Yeah, I still maintain my position of I think this rate cut's going to be maybe more of a sell the news thing, and I don't think it'll be immediately. I think we certainly will when they make the actual rate cut announcement, maybe in the next day or two, see some pushes, which could push us up into that target area on Bitcoin for the head and shoulders there. We're not too far off that right now. I could see very realistically popping up to that 117-ish range there, before settling in, and I don't know if I'd call it a crash, but definitely a sideways consolidation and down. A lot of people calling for 104, 105 area, or in some even calling down to the CME gap at like 92, 93 on Bitcoin. I don't know if we get that big of a pullback, but and if we do, I think it's another one of those V-shaped recovery scenarios where very quickly by November, we're back up and up and to the right and to back off to the races. But again, the longer, in my opinion, we go sideways and down, if we go sideways and range throughout till November, I just think that extends the cycle longer. So I'm completely okay with that.
Yeah, and back to 104 seems possible. I don't really want to see us go below 100K. That'd be devastating to the chart, in my opinion. But this is actually talking about downside scenarios. This guy, I don't even remember his name. He used to rock the man bun. He got caught shorting Bitcoin all the way up, but now he is always asked to go on these news channels. This guy was a degenerate like us, just a crypto guy on Twitter, and now he's like always on these mainstream broadcasts. He's calling for 75.
Soul.
Yeah. He's calling for $75,000 Bitcoin. The top is already in until the next cycle begins.
Garrett's fall away? Yeah, this guy's a douche from last
75K is
cycle.
what he's calling for. He's calling for 75K Bitcoin right before quantitative tightening turns to quantitative easing, and before the United States government can buy Bitcoin, before the Bitcoin strategic reserves are even fully buying. And this is what gets mainstream press. I don't understand it, but if you guys watch this guy, he can always flip it like he's winning, but he got caught with his pants down, shorting all the way up from 15,000 to like 69,000 on this cycle alone.
He was fudding high lat. Like this dude's been a clown since last cycle when he was shorting and fudding the cycle all the way up. Like this guy's like a perma bear. I don't think I've ever seen him bullish or making good calls.
Mainstream media wants him on because they're also perma bears. Do you think everyone on that news channel owns Bitcoin? Do you think they believe in crypto? Or do you think they've been skeptics since day one and never dipped their toes into the crypto markets? Everyone in mainstream media, really, they begrudgingly accept it sort of now, but very begrudgingly. So I'm not surprised this guy's on, but this guy's wrong. So I think, let's zoom out for a sec. There's a big, I think, disconnect between what the old school crypto degens and how they view the market, and then how the market actually has evolved and sort of become. They're thinking, look, massive volatility is coming. Because that's what always happened. Yeah, sure, we go on 60% corrections routinely. Guys, there have been Bitcoin whales that were buying Bitcoin at $10, dumping billions and billions and billions for weeks now. And Bitcoin's barely gone down. It's down 8% off the all-time highs, and it's at $115,000. Even these giant whales who are like in massive profits, trying to dump the market product, can't do it. The market has evolved. The market has changed. It is more mature. There are real institutions with big money buying this stuff, and they think Bitcoin's still undervalued because relative to gold, and they have a 10-year time horizon, it is undervalued. So this guy, he's got the degen hat on. Oh, yeah, it's definitely going to correct massively because that's what it always did. No, bro, you're wrong. We'll see you at $1 million Bitcoin. All right, ran over. I want to get these guys involved in the stream here, our loyal
viewer.
We
got some comments here.
Yeah, we got Hex Bull. Dude, you go on more vacations than we do. What's going on, man? First of all, I got to invite us to one of your vacations. Secondly, did you know that you can go out to the Paradise Pad? If you join the Crypto Paradise Surf DAO, you can stay down in Tulum for free. So maybe your next trip should be down there in Mexico. We got Moonmutt saying hello, good morning. Good morning. Let's hope JP talks dovish. I think he will. By the way, I think he has no choice but to say, hey, the labor market is the concern now, and we're switching over to quantitative easing. He's not going to say that directly, but he'll say it in so many words. And then this is an interesting one from Ron. Sell the news on 25 basis point. You know, maybe we get to sell the news for a couple days. But again, it wouldn't make sense to me that, you know, they cut the rates, quantitative easing now, everything Trump's doing, they're going to start buying Bitcoin. It seems they're going to formalize the Bitcoin Strategic Reserve. Other countries are doing it. I mean, just adoption all over the place. And yet you would see a long-term correction or some giant dump. Like, why? Like, why would that happen outside of a crazy black swan event? So, I don't know. I think, like, look at this Ted Pillow, guys. He thinks that we're going to have a huge dump. I don't know, guys. Like, people have been calling for dumps since $115,000. And, yeah, we got a couple of them, or especially around the tariff FUD. But for the most part, it's been a slow grind up. So what's going to stop the slow grind up? I don't know. I'm betting on staying long.
I wouldn't mind Ted Pillow's chart here, Nate, if we went while we did the 104. That is just a consolidation for Bitcoin. It's down orderly, and we see Ethereum, Solana, BNB, Pulse Chain continue to perform and outperform where we actually get the alt season. I wouldn't mind that. Now the correction below 100 would lead you to believe that a lot of things are going to get wiped out, and even these alts that are still down 70% are going to go down another 10 or 20%. And all that is doing is, yes, it potentially elongates the cycle and upside, but man, the reason things haven't seen fireworks, the reason you're not seeing hype or FOMO on your feed is because retailers, the ones who are here, are down on the position, so they're not excited about anything. They're broke. And then new retail isn't incentivized to jump in. So I don't mind the 104 from Ted Pillows if somehow, some way, while that happens, it's orderly and Solana and Ethereum can outperform.
Well, and I've been seeing a ton of people echoing the scenario one. Oh, 104 and a half, 105, 104 is like, everybody's expecting it. But what do we know happens every time everybody's expecting something to happen in crypto? Something else happens, right? They never make it easy for us. Like, this market will do anything it can to shake you out. So, you know, that's where I'm like start to be like, who knows what's going to go on? Maybe they pump fake us up and then dump us, and then that's a pump fake. And, you know, I totally believe that we're going to go deep into at least Q2 2026. But it's not going to be easy, guys. It's not going to be straight up. It's not going to be an easy just DC, buy and you're going to time the bottom. Like, they're going to pull out every trick they can, and they're going to throw different stuff. That's like last cycle. Last cycle, we peaked and everyone was like, oh, did the cycle stop early? And then it dipped, and then we double topped, and everyone's like, oh, now, we're going to go to the moon now. And then it double topped and tanked, and like, they're going to shake you up. They're going to mess with your emotions. They're going to do anything they can to try to get your bag. So be prepared. Yes, we are all bullish on this channel. We're going to 244 and beyond. Alts are going to run at some point. Heck, we might even get another like pre-sale season where we're able to do some, 10, 20, 100 X's on pre-sales. But it's not going to be easy, guys. Expect for massive amounts of emotional manipulation, and buckle up, because that's crypto, baby. That's the market that we're in.
Talking about pre-sales, what's going on with the Quants pre-sale that's only exclusive to Surf DAO members? Crypto Armor, any update on that? You need 200,000 Surf or more to get in that.
Absolutely. We had a few DAO members joining yesterday, so it looks like there's some hype and excitement for getting into the Quants pre-sale. Or maybe they just joined because they realize how awesome Crypto Paradise is and they want to be a part of the DAO. But
take it either way, baby.
Exactly. Those forms will be going out today. To get you guys into the Quants pre-sale, because that's launching in about 9 days, so we actually have to move quickly on that. So that's coming. We had a launch of Yak DAO yesterday. We'll get into that. We got some other low-cap gems to talk about. I do just want to circle back to one thing Nate said. Now, look, I agree. If you're a trader and you're trying to predict, okay, is tomorrow they're going to dump to 104? Or is it going to pump to 130? I mean, fuck, that is hard. That's a very hard thing to predict. I don't know the future tomorrow, but I'm pretty damn confident in my prediction on 5 years from now, 2 years, 3, 5, 7, 10. Bitcoin's going to be higher, guys. So it actually doesn't have to be that hard if you just buy and hold. Take it from guys who bought and hold for many, many years and are now done quite well as a result of that. What a crazy strategy. Just buy and do nothing. Wow. So it doesn't have to be that hard. If you want to just buy and hold, of course, if you want to trade, good luck to you. I've handed a portion of my money over to Frontier Funds. They're a better trade than I am, but enjoy the dub. Oh, maybe he's from New Jersey. Nothing easy here, especially in Pulse Chain. And man, ain't that the truth. Ain't that the truth? Maybe we'll have some Pulse Chain updates here. We're still bullish on Pulse Chain, but feels like
Shout out.
like so every altcoin, everything's been struggling the past few weeks here. So
I want to double down on your. I want to double down on your shout out to Frontier Fund. Market's doing its thing. We're on here speculating. Pre-sales are doing what they're doing. ETH's up, ETH's down, Bitcoin's up, ETH's down, it's down. Meanwhile, in the background, Frontier Fund every day grinding it out. 1% a day here, 2% a day the next time, 0.5%. Just grinding out, making money. I think the Frontier Fund is going to be super, super popular when we head towards the bear market. Everybody's going to want to get in then. But the smart people are the ones who are in now, because by then you're going to have compounded your initial investment 5-6 times over each month. You have opportunity to roll it into the next one each session. The first principal session of two months that was just previously here, I think we averaged a total of after their fee we walked away with almost 60% on our money, and rolled that into this next one, and now we're gonna do that again and again and again, and then eventually the bear market will get here and we'll have 4 times the money we started with, and then that's what everyone's going to want to jump in. It's get in now, baby. That's where
they can make money in the bear market too, because they can actually short the
that's
market.
what I mean. That's what I mean. I think Frontier Fund's going to get more popular in the bear market because the rest of the opportunities go away, and people are like, well, where can I still make money? Frontier Fund. Well, the only
way to get in the Frontier Fund is you need 400,000 surf or more. You're in the surf DAO, 400,000 surf. You can get in the Frontier Fund and allocate. I think the minimum was $3,500 and maximum was $50,000 for these rounds. So we'll keep updating you on the performance there and see if you guys want to get in the next round. Obviously, we're rooting for it to do well because we got our own money in it, but also if it does well, more people want to get in, which means what? More surf is bought off the market, more surf is burned off the market, and price goes higher. That kind of leads us to Pulse Chain here. Somebody's talking about nothing is easy on Pulse Chain. Hey, slowly but surely, the last 90 days, PLS, the native gas token, is up 55%, PLSX is up 23%, Inc., which is the one that we don't own at all, is down 0.92%. That's kind of the rewards token. I'm not a fan of the green logo. That's the whole play on that. It's the green logo. You got to buy it. And then Hex is up 80%. I know eHex is doing well as well, the one that is native to Ethereum, the first token that Richard Hart launched. So, I mean, slowly but surely it's going up. The Surf token is doing its thing. I think we're probably up, 40% off the low or something like that. Over 106,000 Surf were burned yesterday upon the launch of Yak DAO. If you're in the Surf DAO, we gave you the contract address for a Yak token. It launched at 16K market cap. It's now over 200,000K. Just started yesterday, but this is why it's important, is because of this. If you go to the burn statistics here, 114,489 Surf in the past 24 hours has been bought and burnt off the open market. Some of that is due to organic Surf volume and bot volume on the Surf token, but a lot of this is because of the Yak DAO token. 0.5% of their token taxes is buying and burning the Surf token forever. So not only did we onboard new project, new builders, new devs to Pulse Chain, they can have their own community to get those people on Pulse Chain, which brings more users over. And then with everything bullish that they do, all the volume that they generate will benefit Surf and Crypto Paradise over the long haul as well. That's what we're trying to do. Bring people under our umbrella, get them to buy and burn the Surf token over time, and we are onboarding more people. And now that's less work for us because Yak DAO has their own team, their own community, their own project, and if they have success, then Surf indirectly has success as well.
Had fun just yesterday. I don't think that's going to slow down, especially because we have another project, Bear AI, that is looking to launch next week or maybe the following week, that's doing essentially the exact same thing. Now, again, different team, different narrative, different project entirely, but a part of their token tax is going to buyback and burning Surf, and we have other projects in the pipeline for marketing deals, advisory deals, etc., and that's going to be one of our core requirements, especially if you're launching on Pulse Chain, that is. Portion of your token taxes need to go to buying and burning Surf. So this is not going to stop. This is not going to slow down. And I'm very excited for it. So shout out to Yak DAO. We can cover them in a little bit. But what do we got here? What do we got? Some more money. So we'll be doing a DAO vote here very shortly to give everyone a say as to what we want to do with those DAO funds. My guess is we'll be buying back Surf and adding more liquidity. But let's see what they have to say. Maybe we'll do a big buyback and burn. That could be cool. Why not switch it up for once? Just one giant green candle. Burn it all. That could be fun. So we'll see what the DAO has to say. But yeah, why don't we switch gears? Yak chart looking good. Of course, the initial pump, and then a little consolidation here.
Yeah, Yak DAO launched at, you can see on here, there's 5-minute candles. It launched around 16,000 market cap and then rapidly started rising. up 1,400% in the past 24 hours at a $242,000 market cap. Already has 239 holders. I think this shows the proof is in the pudding of the power of crypto paradise. There's a lot of projects that launch and get bonded through pump tires that end up with 50, 60 holders. Even Rome, which we call and is doing very well, which we'll look at here shortly, still after 2 weeks only has 123 holders. So Yakta almost instantly has double the holders. An airdrop or any of that hasn't happened yet, so it isn't artificially created. So that's good to see. And we'll see what happens here. Obviously, they are buying and burning Yaks token. They're auto-adding to the LPs, and it's going to take time for this price to settle out, for the revenue from the real-world asset, their glamping domes, to actually go towards buying the Yakdao token or providing yield to Yak stakers. But this is a good start. This is all you can hope for. A lot of volume, a lot of holders, good price appreciation. Now, I'm sure they're going to get all their tokens distributed, the airdrop going. That might cause some volatility. But then after that, we'll see if the first RWA project, glamping sites, a real campground worth like $1 million or $1.5 million on Pulse Chain, can catch some legs, especially now where I think the next narrative is really going to be RWA season. BlackRock's talking about it a lot. Tokenizing securities is becoming a thing, and RWA will be in the headlines. And Yakdao is an RWA play, and I'll let you guys expand on it a little further.
Yeah, man. Shout out to Yakdao. That project has been through the ringer, hasn't it? I mean, this is Yaks 2.0. For those who do not know the history or backstory behind Yakdao, this is a project that we've been working with since 2022, I want to say. They came to us with this idea. We said, hey, we love it. We're looking to sort of diversify some of our crypto into real estate. Following the last bull run, it just made a lot of sense. Really like the team. David is a serial entrepreneur, extremely successful guy across the board. And we just felt like this is something we want to be aligned with. So we help them, from the website. You see the designs. A buddy of mine actually made the NFT collection. I mean, so our relationship with them goes way, way back. But they launched the token Yaks 1.0 on Arbitrum like 2 years ago. Arbitrum turned out to not be the right choice. It did have a token tax at, Yaks 1.0, but Arbitrum doesn't have this innovation where the tax can be distributed and used for a multitude of different things. So fast forward about a year after that launch, they decided they want to migrate to base chain because there's more hype, more users, etc. And in the process, their liquidity got it was hacked. Someone stole their liquidity as they were migrating it over. Someone got access to the wallet, something like that, and stole liquidity. So for about a year, the Yaks token was off the market. And, they had dumped, like you said, that property's worth $1.5 million now. They had built 3 or 4 domes. So they dumped a lot of money into the real world asset. They didn't have a ton of money for relaunching a token in like a more traditional way. So we said, all right, Pulse Chain's the perfect opportunity for you guys. Surf is a template you can follow. Do something similar. And so they came up with this concept, the 4.5% buy, 4.5% sell tax. Those taxes go towards things like a property fund so they can continue to build out the property. Those taxes are going to, of course, buying and adding liquidity on Yaks, and then buying back and burning Surf token as well. So it launched yesterday. It's sitting about $250,000 market cap. I still think very undervalued relative to, even if you just think about the value of the property itself. $1.5 million property, already generating revenue, already having paying guests come visit the property down in North Carolina, and yet the coin itself only worth $250,000 fully diluted market cap. I mean, that's kind of crazy to think. So plenty of upside, in my opinion. Great team, great narrative. If the RWA narrative comes back, especially, the fundamentals are strong with the property already generating revenue. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know what more you want in a low cap gem, but it's certainly got more than most projects that are, sit at far higher valuations.
Hey, what do you got to add? You got to say something. Yeah, I was just showing kind of some of the. I was showing the website there, and we'll do a deeper dive into Yakdao here once there's another really good setup on the chart. But the other nice thing is if you hold the Yaks token, it reflects, and obviously we're very bullish on Pulse Chain, and we think that this could be the biggest outperformer due to its own token utility. So simply by holding Yaks, you're in PLSX for free. If you own Yaks, you're supporting Surf because it's buying and burning Surf. It also buys and burns the X token, which has really strong liquidity bonding to PTGC, and Coach X is back, and a lot of bullish things there as well. So, the nice thing about Yaks is it's a real estate investment as part of your crypto portfolio, which is unique, but it also helps pump the other bags we own. It's a new micro cap, and, hopefully maybe a crypto paradise retreat will be at the campground in Burvend. I know there's four geodesic domes already there, plus extra land if people just wanted to pop tents. So we'll see how the first one on the beach goes, because that's our vibe. But maybe we'll have to have one on Yakdaw's property as well. So a lot of bullish things for Yakdaw. And I think the last thing to say is this is part of our mission to onboard and grow and help Pulse Chain. So keep supporting us if you like Pulse Chain, whether you're in Surf or not, whether you like altcoins or not, whether you buy Yakdao or X or PTGC, it doesn't really matter. Everything we're doing is trying to get more people here. And if they come over here, they're inevitably going to own some blue chips. Even this project is buying up PL and distributing it to its holders. So that's bullish for your blue chip bags as well.
Yeah, man. Shout out to those guys. I'm so pumped they finally relaunched. And there were some like salty people in their group. Where's the airdrop? Because by the way, everyone who held the original Yaks 1.0 still in their wallet. Didn't sell it previously. You still held it. You're going to get an airdrop 1-for-1 of the new token. So, a couple salty people, whatever. But I'm just glad. Look, it went from a total loss, right? Because of the liquidity was hacked. That was it. Like, there was no way to sell the token. To now, fully revived, fully rejuvenated. Money being generated from these taxes. David's excited again. I can just tell, having spoken with him, he's feeling a new sense of purpose and excitement around the project after having been through all that hardship. So for me, staying super positive, supporting these guys, I think it's very undervalued. And you know what? Let's see what happens with rate cuts tomorrow, because Roan may be right. I'm actually with you, my friend. All of crypto Twitter saying dump, I'm betting the other way. I'm betting against crypto Twitter. Those idiots don't know much. I don't think they fully understand what they have in their hands and where this industry is going. Right? I don't think they understand how Wall Street views this. Essentially still a micro asset class. You know what I mean? $4 trillion, $4 trillion total market cap of all of crypto? NVIDIA, a single company on the S&P 500. I think Microsoft just may have hit the $4 trillion. I know Oracle's probably close to $4 trillion. There are like 4 or 5 companies that are at or around $4 trillion, just companies alone on the S&P 500. So why is it that we would think, crypto's done and, the bear market's coming and, we're overvalued here. It's definitely going to sell off. Bitcoin shouldn't be worth 115,000. No, guys. No. We're early. We're very early. And everything's undervalued. That's my opinion. So anyway, I think Rowan may be right. Let's get a melt up starting tomorrow instead of a meltdown.
You're making Nate sweat a little bit. Nate's got those leveraged shorts open to 104. Just kidding. Got to make it exciting. Fair enough. Let's look at a couple more micro caps here that we've been talking about that have been doing well. Obviously, Surf here. You can see what happened with the Yakdao launch. You can see this rally even in the face of Pulse Chain being red, and that's because of the buy and burns from Yakdao and all the volume. You can see all these small transactions. A lot of these $25, $28, $58, $17 transactions, this is from Yakdao's volume. The smart contract is auto going here and buying up Surf and sending it to the burn address. Also, when Yakdao price increases, since Surf was an initial LP, much like PTGC, much like all the blue chips, when it goes up, it needs more to suck more of the Surf tokens out of supply to add to that LP to level up that liquidity pool. So that's happening as well. So you want to root for Yak to go up because it's going to keep buying and burning Surf, keep buying and adding to LP of Surf, as well as PLS, X, PTGC, and all the other blue chips. So if you're a part of any of those communities, you want to root for these new projects to do well because they are going to be benefiting you if you were chosen to be an initial LP. And we think PTGC is one of the best assets on Pulse Chain. That's why we add the initial LP there. Of course, all the blue chips were involved with Surf, we're involved with X, so we got to have those as well. We see a RhinoFi, a project that we helped launch at a 40K market cap, is still sitting here at $745,000 market cap, so another big winner there. And simply by holding that, you are earning PLS token. See how we have this theme here where it either needs to benefit Surf or pay passive income because we believe Pulse Chain is undervalued. And one of the most recent calls in the Surf DAO is the Roam token, which was a pump tires token over on Pulse Chain. We gave a call down here at 15K. It did its spike and it came down. When it launched, that looked like it was over. But when zoomed out now, it's just a blip. This was at 38K market cap. We put out a full video on why we liked it. And now it's up to 265K market cap currently in just 2 weeks. So they just had their first successful gaming tournament. It brought in $525 in revenues. It paid out $650 in rewards to players. And they did a buyback and burn of that token. And they're planning on doing a tournament every weekend. So we'll see if that continues and what happens for the Roam token. But, Pump Tires does have a little more successes than Pump Fun. It seems like Pulse Chain, you're not going to get the massive billion-dollar mooners. But it looks like there is some people there who are trying to launch projects that have real utilities and real longevity in mind, rather than rugging it for $5,000.
Well, the legit ones are few and far between. Let's just be honest, right? If you went to Pump Tires right now and looked at the front page,
True.
there'd probably be 20 coins. They're all scams. But our job is to help you guys sift through the garbage and find the gems. And so Rome's a great example of that. YakDAO's a great example. I mean, man, YakDAO at $250,000 market cap feels so undervalued to me based on their fundamentals and the fact they have a $1.5 million glamping property fully built out with with guests coming in and paying to stay at the dome. So, shout out to YakDAO once again. I think that's another massive gem here now on Pulse Chain, very undervalued. I see you're showing the EMIT farms. A lot of great farming tokens. Nate did a video yesterday, some good farming tokens on the Vox ecosystem. So yeah, a lot of passive income plays, undervalued gems here on Pulse Chain, huh?
Yeah, shout out Vox again, by the way. I did the live stream Monday morning on that, but if you haven't seen that yet, go back and watch it. That platform has so much more than I thought. Like, I thought it was cool, another staking, farming platform. It had some cool pools on there. You can make some, and I was farming there, making 700% APR, something crazy like that. But I went back and actually to do this video and actually looked at it. They've got so many DeFi tools on their entire platform. They're a heck of a lot more than a farm. So go check it out. They got bubble maps. They got ranking tools. They got a portfolio tool, which is absolutely killer. You can log in there. You can track your different assets, and you don't have to necessarily log in with your wallet either. So it's not really tracking. You can just plug in tokens and things like that. But overall, super cool. A platform. They got a bridge and the swap built right in there. It's got almost everything you need on there. I think the only thing I noticed that they didn't have is a BSC scanner built in. But other than that, farms, bubble maps, portfolio, bridge swap, got it all. So again, shout out to those guys. Very, very cool stuff there.
Yeah, that's Vox.finance. If you want to check it out, there is surf pools with Vox, with Hype, and with Increase, not with Hexamo. We need to look into that. So you can earn yield on your surf if you pair it with any of these tokens. And then again, there's also single-sided staking and farms with the blue chips. So if you're a Pulse Chain guy, you want to get yield, there is no more yield on PulseX right now. So you got to find yield somewhere if you want it. This is a platform that's been running for quite a while now, almost a year. So not to say that there isn't going to be some kind of security exploit. That's what people are always afraid about with DeFi. There's never any guarantees in crypto, but it's been running flawlessly for quite a while. And then I was showing EMIT because EMIT, farming tokens sometimes have the big troughs in the up, and then it rides down and eventually comes up because people are selling their yield. Well, EMIT has just locked itself in and been so consistent around this $100 mark because you can earn the EMIT and then solo stake it to earn PDI on a daily basis, which, kind of disincentivizes you to sell EMIT because it's all right, I earned EMIT, I'll just stake it, and then I know any stablecoin I get is pure profits, and I can use that to buy more surf, or I can use that to buy PTGC or a blue chip or pay a bill, buy lunch, whatever it is, which I think is why this price of this farming token has been so stable and so consistently holding these floor prices. Even with Pulse Chain going down, even with some of the other farming tokens going down, this one continues to be strong just because the token economic built in of paying out that stablecoin yield to solo stakers.
I love EMIT. I've been farming their solo pool for a long time now. I go in there almost every day and take my DAI rewards, swap them back into EMIT, stake the new EMIT, and just watch that bag climb and climb and climb. Because we believe in these guys. They're at 100K market cap. It's a 10x to a million to 10x, 10 million. When we get into actual alt season later here and we see Pulse Chain start to run, quality DeFi projects with real teams like EMIT, 10 million is no problem. That's still a tiny micro cap of a company. That's 100x from here. So I'm believing. I'm just every day mining a little or harvesting a little more DAI, buying that EMIT, staking it back in there, repeat, and just watching my bag grow.
Yeah, I mean, this was a official call on the Surf DAO as well back in June. Even with this big rally and all this consolidation and all the red in the market, now we're here in September. We're still up 124% on the trade, not including passive income opportunities. And there is an EMIT and Surf pool that pays well. There's a Surf and Top Hat pool. Shout out to Crypto Coffee if you're watching. That's his meme coin that pays out well. There's a Surf and X protocol pool. Shout out to Coach X. So you can earn yield on that as well. So, I mean, there's a lot of opportunities to earn yield. And not only is the call for a trader, if you're a trader, you made 124%. But if you're a farmer, I mean, that's 3 months of farming yield. And we're talking yields between 45% to 250% over the course of 3 months. You can do the math on how much money you could have been making.
All reasons to smash that like, share, and subscribe. If you guys like passive income, if you guys like low cap gem calls, if you guys just like market analysis, you know, reminders to stay long and hold your Bitcoin and ETH, if you guys like finding out new projects like YakDAO, or maybe you just like the banter, or who knows, maybe you want to stay on the beach with us and hang out on the Paradise Pad. All reasons to like, share, and subscribe. So thank you guys for tuning in, watching, helping us grow the channel. We are just getting started. So excited to be here. Thank you for all our loyal subscribers. And what else we got to cover
We've been talking about volatility, and man, people are uncertain of what's going on. But I just want to show the BNB chart. Back here, we said that BNB is just going to teleport to $1,000, and so far it has kind of done just that. You know, since this low back in June when we said, I don't know, probably be a buyer, it's probably going to teleport to $1,000. Well, now we're at $926 in just a few months, and it has been up and to the right for BNB. You can see the live buys and sells that we gave you guys, and I mean, my gosh, when you zoom out a little bit, I mean, everybody's worried about ups, downs, left, rights on Ethereum and what's going to happen. BNB is not even phased. It just looks like it's doing another one of these bull flags and wants to go higher once again. I mean, shout out to CZ, Binance, and the BSC Smart Chain, because if any kind of retail market comes back and any kind of hype happens over there, I mean, the price of this token only goes in one direction. I mean, we went overbought at the highs here, just shy of $1,000 target that we had. It's sold off only a couple $100, not even $100, $50, and it's already reset to neutral, which means that it is poised that, hey, if it goes a little bit lower down here, $900 support, it can be back to oversold and wants to rip and roar again, breaking above $1,000. I mean, that's pretty wild. So shout out to the strength in the BNB token, any BNB holders. It doesn't get much love on here, it doesn't get much love on the timeline, but the price keeps going up and to the right.
Don't have enough, though. Don't have enough. But it's a fascinating thing because you're right. No one really talks about it. It's all ETH, Bitcoin, you know, and of course, like the low cap gems people talk about. But BNB just absolutely crushing, outperforming. To me, it feels like we are sort of at the cusp of, you know, big cap season. You know, major altcoin season. Not Bitcoin. You know, that's sort of just been chilling, consolidating. ETH obviously still doing well, but like now we're trickling into BNB. Let's see where else money trickles down to. Doge has outperformed, I believe, over the past week or so. So different big caps are doing well. That's a great sign. That means that money is eventually going to trickle down to the mid and the low caps and the micro caps. So it's all playing out as we expected. Maybe on a bit of a longer time scale, longer time horizon. But man, with quantitative easing right around the curve here starting tomorrow, I expect these big caps and then mid and then small, everything's going to do well, guys. So just hang on here, stay patient. Everything's playing out as we expected.
Crypto Amaru will stay on here for a second. We got Legend Nick for sharing to subscribers. Whether you're a subscriber to Crypto Paradise or maybe you're a subscriber to me on X. X did say, hey, Nick, you're eligible for subscription. So I figured, okay, I'll set it up. I charge like $3. I just set it up like 2 days ago. And I said, if anybody joins, 25% of any of those funds that come in, I'm just going to blindly go buy and burn the Surf token. Again, just trying to be benevolent to Pulse Train, trying to help pump Surf token, because we know if Surf token does well, Crypto Paradise does well, and then we can give back to the community in a big way. So that's what we're doing over there. So yeah, we'll just keep on grinding, keep trying to find gems. There's gonna be ups and downs. You're not gonna win on every trade, but we've been heading in the right direction. We've been overly bullish. We've been telling you to get long on crypto stocks, and although it's not always dopamine rushes, everything is still up in the portfolio here and still trending towards an explosive end of 2025 and potentially an extension into 2026.
It's like last summer when everyone was talking about, oh, sell, you know, Germany's dumping Bitcoin, sell, you know, Trump tariffs are going to destroy the global economy, sell, Bitcoin's too high, it shouldn't be worth 100-something thousand, sell. We've been telling you, hang on, have long-term time horizons. Yes, we're going to have corrections along the way, but we're grinding higher because that's what happens when you have an ETF that just got created. That's what happens when institutions start to buy into Bitcoin and believe in it. That's what happens when you have a guy like Michael Saylor just buying billions and billions and billions. So it's what happens when you have an administration that's all of a sudden pro-crypto as opposed to Biden, which was trying to kill it. So I don't know. If you listen to the influencers on crypto Twitter or YouTube or whatever and told you to sell and get out of the markets, you'd be hurting right now. If you fell on Crypto Paradise, yeah, emotional roller coaster for sure, but at least you held on your backs.
Yeah, we can see that. Last summer was the end of the Biden administration, and we had the big sell-off, and everybody's panicking, and Germany's selling Bitcoin and everything else. But, we believed in what the data was showing, that Trump was going to win. I was at Bitcoin Nashville when you had Trump and Vivek Ramaswamy and Michael Saylor and J.D. Vance, and the list goes on of all these people saying why Bitcoin is going to be the future, why there's going to be a Bitcoin strategic reserve, blah, blah, blah. We got behind that and predicted Trump actually winning, Bitcoin and crypto thriving. That's exactly what happened. We got new all-time highs when he was first elected. And then, of course, there was the tariff panic. And everybody wanted to sell. And you had Tim Waltz on stage laughing about 401ks becoming 201ks. And at those lows, we said, hey, there's a couple reasons you want to be long. Number one, Trump wants markets to go higher. He's in power the next 4 years. Number two, history shows you that tariffs are not inflationary and the markets will go to new all-time highs by the end of 2025. I was wrong on that. It went to new all-time highs by June. It took 6 months. I thought it would take 12 months. And then, of course, we've been here predicting $244,000 Bitcoin by the end of 2025. And although we're not there yet, we said that when Bitcoin was like $50,000, $60,000. So you're still up over double on that prediction. So, yeah, we've been bullish. We've been giving you dip opportunities to buy. We saw the writing on the wall that Trump would win and that a pro-crypto administration here in the United States leads the global financial macro output across the world. You got El Salvador still buying 1 Bitcoin a day. They bought like 28 Bitcoin last week instead of 1. You got other nation states and other countries coming online with Bitcoin strategic reserves. And of course, we have the Bitcoin and Ethereum strategic reserve narrative where these companies, instead of holding on to the US dollar or their other shitty fiat currencies, they're buying Bitcoin, they're buying Ethereum, they're buying Solana, putting them on the books. And guess what? Because of the Trump administration and the regulatory favorability, those assets are now counted as holdings for those companies. Before, that didn't count. If you held Bitcoin, you couldn't show that on your quarterly reports and have it count for anything. Well, now you can, and now these companies are taking advantage of that opportunity.
The Bitcoin strategic reserve narrative is not slowing down either. Michael Saylor just met with Trump administrative officials yesterday, and they are crafting legislation to sort of finalize or solidify, craft those details around the Bitcoin strategic reserve here in the U.S. So I think it's just a matter of time before the United States starts buying Bitcoin itself, right? So look, so many reasons to be long, no reasons to be short, other than, I'm scared, I don't believe in this asset class, black swan events could happen, all the usual suspects. I don't buy into that stuff. Stay long term. If you buy in and your time horizon is 10 years, you do not care what happens next month. So just think about that. Remember that the United States dollar is doing nothing but getting inflated down into zero. So, that means hard assets like Bitcoin, like gold, by the way, just hit $3,700, a new all-time high as of today. Like companies on the S&P 500, equities, etc. Those are the assets you want to hold. The dollar keeps going down in value. This doesn't have to be that complicated, guys. Everyone overcomplicates investing. It's not that complicated. Just buy and hold, goddammit.
Let's look at a couple other things that are pertinent to our holdings. ACO Holdings, we had a buy at $19. We gave a sell live on air at $58, and it is down 80%, down to $11. This is the company who's doing a strategic reserve of the world coin. I don't know. I'm not really a huge fan. But BMNR and Thomas Lee did invest in that down here, so they're still doing well. But if you tuned in, you bought the FOMO, you sold the top within 24 hours, you made some 200% gains on a stock pick, and it's down 73%, 80%. Will this find a low and do well? Probably, because Thomas Lee is still talking about orbs and WorldCoin and everything else. If we see more of an oversold and we get a buy set up, the Surf DAO or the Learn Crypto Patreon group will be the first to know about it. And, of course, we'll tell you about it here in the live show. But this one will be hard to pick a low on, but an 80% dip is a good starting point. So shout out to anybody who took those trades, or if you tuned in live, you were able to get out of the position virtually at the exact top. So shout out to you. And then let's look at the gold, because you mentioned that. And we do have targets on gold. Here's the breakout gold did.
Here's the melt up.
And here's the target, right around $4,000 gold, $3,900. So everybody every day is talking about gold new all-time high. Now, percentage-wise, it's not really much. Even dollars-wise, it's not very much. But it's telling you what the markets are feeling, and that is anti-fiat. Get into some kind of scarce hedge inflation assets. And the boomers are still buying gold. Eventually, that rolls over into Bitcoin and Ethereum, in my opinion. And I think the short-term top, the target for gold will be just shy of $4,000 per ounce. Everybody will be bullish up there, FOMOing, holy cow, gold, 4,000. They'll break out the hats. That's when you should be going to the pawn shop and selling some of that gold and rolling it into ETH, Bitcoin, or other assets, in my opinion.
Well, there's always that delay between the Bitcoin all-time high and then Bitcoin running. I think it's like 6 weeks or 2 months or something like that. Data's out there to show that Basically, once gold goes on a big run, all-time highs or whatever, Bitcoin follows shortly thereafter. So no reason to doubt that's going to happen now. I like Bitcoin more than gold. First of all, its valuation is 10 times less, or actually more now, probably 12 times less. And it's the digital version of the analog thing. We live in a digital economy, live in a digital world. The boomers are eventually going to die off. Gen Z is going to be taken over. My kids are going to take over. Gen Alpha. You guys learned something new on the show. Yes, there is a new generation called Generation Alpha. Do you think they're going to want gold or do you think they're going to want Bitcoin? Who knows? Maybe they'll want beans on Solana. But my point is, the world is changing. It is becoming more digital by the day. Get in on the digital version of the gold that is worth 10 times less than gold itself. And the markets will figure that out. $25 trillion asset. That's what gold's valuation is. And look at poor Bitcoin down there. Not even a $3 trillion. Not even as valuable as Amazon. The thing that delivers Chinese junk products to my house. Still worth more than the scarce Bitcoin. And look at, man, Ethereum so undervalued. Good lord. Good lord. All right. See you at $4 trillion valuation on Ethereum. See you there. See you there soon. My goodness. So much upside on ETH too.
That is pretty wild that you can get a 10x in Ethereum and still only be worth like $5 trillion. Is that even the right math? I mean, that's kind of crazy. And Bitcoin, now you can get an 11x on Bitcoin just to match gold's current price. If gold goes to 4, and this is what they quoted price at 3,700. If gold goes to 4,000, what is this market cap? And what does that leave for Bitcoin? A 13x to match it? So that's kind of what the macro people are looking at. Like, let's look at what silver is worth. Let's look at what gold is worth and what NVIDIA is worth, a single company. And that's kind of upside objectives for Bitcoin. That's an upside objective for Ethereum and some of these other layer ones that exist in cryptocurrency ecosystem.
If this data does not get you bullish about the future of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies and ETH, et cetera, I don't know what will. The proof is in the pudding, guys. There's a lot of money out there, trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars waiting to flow down into this new, exciting, innovative asset class that is blockchain and that is crypto. You guys are all early. Only 3% of all of humanity owns any of this stuff. We are all early as hell, so stay long, stay convicted. I gotta get going because my son is sick at home. He's yelling at me. But until next time, we will see you guys on the beach.
Crypto is on the rise, making that